I got my ticket for the long way round. Boom, boom, boom.
18 Nuremberg. We arrived in Nuremberg and got out of the car as the sat-nav said we'd arrived at the Juriztpalatz, or the Palace of Justice. However, we had to walk at least another 7 minutes in the freezing cold, not really knowing if we were going to find it or not. I had to use my German for the first time and was told it was only a little way further. It was 4 p.m, spitting and starting to get quite dark. If we'd known how large the palace was, we wouldn't have worried about missing it. This is the outside. The court where this trial took place is still a working court, and we were very fortunate that it was open when we arrived at 4 p.m. Nuremberg was selected as the location for the International Military Tribunal after World War II for 2 reasons. Firstly, the Palace of Justice was large, undamaged, and had a large prison. Secondly, Nuremberg was the home of the Nuremberg laws, which were anti-Semitic. Leading judges from Great Britain, France, the United States and the Soviet Union would hear the cases against 22 leading Nazi officials for crimes committed during World War II. The various charges were 1. Conspiracy to wage aggressive war, and that was tried by the USA. The second charge was crimes against peace, tried by Great Britain. It was defined as participation in the planning and waging of a war of aggression in violation of numerous international treaties. The third charge was war crimes and was tried jointly by France and the Soviet Union. It was defined as violations of the internationally agreed upon rules for waging war. And the fourth crime was crimes against humanity, and it was also tried jointly by France and the Soviet Union. These crimes included murder, extermination, enslavement, deportation, and other inhumane acts committed, including persecution on political, racial, or religious grounds. The large crest inside the court had the fall of man in the middle, Adam and Eve, and on the left a Germanic man and sword, and on the right a Roman man and sword. These signified the roots of the current legal system. There's also a large cross in the centre of the front wall of the court. Judges today sit to the left of the windows. In the Nuremberg trials, the judges sat underneath the windows. The official name of the trial itself is daunting. 4 countries were listed against 20 defendants and the organisations they belonged to. There were around 50 prosecution and a few less defence counsels and about 12 judges. It was some trial. The defendants sat on the left-hand side of the courtroom. The defences maintained that war had never been a punishable offence in court, that the court was illegally contrived, and that they were disadvantaged compared to the prosecution because they had to have their evidence okayed, not everything was translated into German, and they had no experience in cross-examination. They also argued that Hitler is allein verantwortlich. Hitler is alone responsible. At least 9 military police guarded the prisoners in the courtroom. Their defence counsel sat in front of them with headphones on, listening to the trial via interpreters. The witness box in this case is in the middle of the room, facing the judges on the right. The trial finished with 12 sentenced to death, 3 sentenced to life imprisonment, 4 receiving prison terms of 10 to 20 years, and 3 being acquitted. The prisoners were held in Spandau prison in Berlin. Hess, the last prisoner, committed suicide, still in prison, in 1987 at the age of 93.